SAWC was a few weeks ago, which we apologize for getting this out a little later. The fun fact is that when we go to conferences, work still happens.
We still have to work. We still got things that are due.
We get back and it's like a marathon to get caught back up just from like the 3 days that we weren't in office.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're coming at you a little late, but better late than never. The flight home was much better than the flight there.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's go back.
You guys, the flight there was horrendous, and it wasn't just me and or Kallie. Like, everyone was feeling it. You know, it's the name of the game when you want to fly to Central in the middle of hurricane and tornado. And yeah, I was just told a friend that lives in Tennessee, they had a tornado warning. It's just that time of year, you know, that all these things are happening. So anyway, it was awful, you guys. We were delayed. I was in Wichita. You were in San Antonio. Yeah, and our boss was stuck in...
Oh, he was Wichita.
No, I was Wichita.
Where's he at?
He was in Texas, but somewhere else.
So anyways, what happened was the Dallas air runways were so flooded with water that the planes couldn't land. And so the airports were like, you guys can't land. So our pilots literally circled. We're all on different planes, by the way, circling above Dallas for hours. And then they're like, oh, well, we need fuel. So we got diverted back to, all different places.
We got there. We made it a little bit later than we thought. That's okay. Yeah, we made it. And it was, this is what number SAWC for you, Kallie? 4. This is my, I don't know, can't keep count. But it was, I think it was really great. I think they're picking up steam again from COVID days. Like, we're starting to see the same numbers than pre-COVID attending. This venue was great. I think it was nice that it was easy enough to walk to, and everything was central, even though we were like in a greenhouse.
Yeah. The Gaylord Resort was beautiful, but yeah, you do feel like after a few days, you're like, have I been outside? Because you feel like you're outside, but then you actually walk out.
You haven't been. I know. But for, since we're hoping we have a lot of different listeners. So if you are new to wound care or new to healthcare and are interested in wound care and you've ever thought, should I go to one of these conferences? I think if you have the opportunity, absolutely. I think Kallie and I were talking about this. Obviously we've been to these things for a couple years now. And so our view of these conferences is a little bit different. But I think for a new learner, a new person in wound care, I think it's phenomenal. I think it's exactly who it's made for. Don't you think?
Absolutely. Well, because like in our talk, we felt disappointed with all the sessions, right? We went to the exhibit hall, and that's where, like, I don't want to say our bread and butter is, but that's where we're actually, networking, talking with people, and learning about new products. So for us, it was like the sessions felt like the same sessions over and over. But what I don't think we realized is for the people that are coming for their first time or their second time, there's so much information that is being shared. And when we were talking with attendees, I think it was a good reminder for us, like, oh yeah, these things aren't for us. Like, these are
exactly
about what's out there, what's new to the world, so we can take it back, share it with you guys, share it with our network. But really, like, the heart and soul of these conferences are for the clinicians, are for the docs. One of my favorite people we talked to was the young girl that's doing ostomy research, right?
Loved her. Yeah. And that's such a reality check. Like, so just for those who are like, what are you guys talking about? One thing Kallie and I loved, and we started it a couple conferences ago, and kind of just figuring out, like, what are we going to do with this footage? This was like pre-baby podcast. Like, we didn't know what we wanted to do. And so we love to interview attendees. And, it was a bit nerve-wracking at first, I think, because they didn't know. They're like, who are you guys? But I feel like this session around, and it was really nice to be like, hey, we have a podcast and we want to talk to you. But talking to attendees was such a reminder for me of like, why are we doing what we're doing? Hey, me and Kallie, sometimes we need reality checks. We get so, I think, blinded by the tasks that we have to do and obviously the content we want to put out for you guys, but what makes this stuff meaningful. And speaking to attendees really just reminded us like why we're doing what we're doing. What's the point of this? Shout out to the couple people who recognize us from our podcast. Hey yo. It was kind of cool, not gonna lie, that people were like, you look familiar, but that's the whole point. And I love that it reached people who are new to the industry. And I think the cool part is we saw different walks of wound care life, right? The one girl who recognized us wasn't a clinician, but
No.
someone who was new to the wound care industry and working in sales. She's like, your material has helped me so much. Love that. But we also met nurses who were like, you've helped me in my baby wound care journey and getting educated. So like, that's the whole point. But yeah, this girl that we met, phenomenal. We're actually, fingers crossed, hopefully we can get her on the podcast to speak about this poster she did about ostomy care, because I turned to Kallie and I was like, you got, like, we haven't spoken about ostomies yet, which is something near and dear to my heart as well. And so we're excited to bring that education to you. But yeah, she's phenomenal and I can't wait to talk to her more.
I know. And I think that was like every single person we talked to had different perspectives of what they learned, what was their favorite part of the conference. And I, like you said it perfectly. It was eye opening because we were literally just like moaning and groaning, like, it's the same sessions, the same stuff. And then we talked to these people and we're like, okay, yeah.
Duh. It's not about us, it's about them. Hello.
Oh, being self-centered over here, like, we're not learning anything new, except there were a few new products, which was
No,
nice.
yeah, that we're excited to bring to you guys, and for those in our network, we'll get to see that because that's I think that's where our focus is always, like what's new in the market, because wound care is ever changing. There's always a new wound care product, and I think it could be overwhelming for those in the clinics to keep up. And like that's what we love is meeting these and like, what are these products? How is it helping? And is it really different to what we already have? Because I love that when it is. And it's a new technology and a new way of looking at wounds and treatment plans. So yeah, excited to bring all of that to you guys. And our wonderful producer, Glenn, is putting all of that together and putting the footage together. And so hopefully you guys can see and really hear from just regular attendees. But yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Also, we talked to the attendees about their favorite part of the conference. What was your favorite part of the conference, Christina?
So my favorite part was meeting with these researchers who I think in like normal research world wouldn't have fell into wound care, but they did. And that's what I love. Like it was just new people talking about things that came from a different background, but then like fell into wound care. That's my favorite part. And in turn, we met this awesome young lady that also did a poster about ostomies. And so I loved that actually. It really falling into posters. And I'll be honest with you guys. You guys know I keep it real. I am not a researcher. I don't even, sometimes I read research papers and I'm like, huh? And so it's another thing that Kallie and I really want to do an episode on is how this matters to you guys as listeners about research and why it is important. But I think learning more and understanding why the poster session is important and learning about all of these up and coming researches that people are doing, it is important, and it is kind of interesting to listen and learn, and it just makes your brain, I don't know, for me it like made me think.
Yeah.
And that so far was my favorite. What was yours?
I mean, definitely that for sure. And I would say also getting to, meet up with people that we talked to throughout the year. Um, and, really building on those relationships because at the end of the day, we're all human. And so sometimes I feel like throughout the year, you're always meeting over virtual meetings, right? You're like, it's business, business, business. And then finally, you get the person at these things. And so I would say definitely the attendees, talking to them. And like you said, coming from different walks of life, because we don't all start in wound care, right? Like we all started somewhere else and found our way into wound care. So that was really enlightening. And to know like, oh, and also like the young minds, like that was one thing that I did really appreciate about SAWC is they had those up and coming, right? All the young people, whether they're starting out in college, ending college, like right, letting their voices be heard. So that was really great. But just like the people, I don't know if it's because like I work remotely. It's like
Like, well, and you and I were together
I know
the
that's
first time in what, a year? Well, no, like 8-9 months.
was my
Um,
part. No.
yeah, I know you guys are so sick of us. We're so corny, but like it's always just being in the same space as Callie. And we did record. I'm sure Glenn's gonna mesh it in here, but we did get to be together for a little bit, and that's always just I don't know, rejuvenating. It is, I'm sure more than half of you guys can relate. We all work from home. I was just talking to somebody yesterday. It's nice, right? You work from home, you get a lot done, you don't get distracted, but I think being around people, it really does fill my cup and like gets me going again. So that was really fun.
Yeah, and I think it just reminds you of our mission, right? Of like, okay, we are all in this industry to help patients. And I feel
Mhm.
like sometimes we forget about that when we're just, meeting to meeting, doing all those daily tasks that we need to do to get done. And then we talk with people and they're like, oh yeah, we all love this. We're all
Yeah.
passionate about this and we all just want to heal patients. So what do we need to do that? And
Yeah.
so I
And
think
I
that's
think it actually gets like you're so phenomenal at running the education department, but I think it really gets like a reminder of like, oh yeah, or ideas, right? I think we a couple times were like, that's such a good idea. We should do that, or we should incorporate more of that as we build things. We've said it once, we'll say it again. Anybody, any of our listeners, if you have any ideas or you feel like there's a topic that needs to be discussed, or um, maybe you're new in the wound care world and need something, like reach out. Glenn's going to put our links at the bottom. Like, reach out and let us know. We'd love to hear from you. How can we be more proactive in what you guys need out there in the world?
absolutely. Well, I mean, even just like, what was it, a week ago? We had a young lady, new to wound care nurse, reach out and was like, how do I get all of the woundle education?
Heck yeah, that was such a win.
But I was in my garden because it came in the evening and I was like, yeah.
You guys don't understand when, like, the things that are babies that come to fruition and the things that we do, it's those little wins that we're like, that's what I think I even said it to you. I was like, that's why we do what we do. Like, that's it right there. And now I'm good for the year. Like, let's
No,
keep doing
like
it.
all this hard work, all of this, like, what are we going to do? My poor team, like, I don't think you guys understand with Windle being every Wednesday. It's like we complete one, we're on to the next one. So any word suggestions, shoot them
Y'all,
our
it ain't easy to come up with a 5 or 6 letter word in wound care that we haven't already used. And so, no, truly, Callie's team is always coming up and being innovative about the words that are used to keep it fun and exciting, because that's what's it. And I think, what, 4 years later? Well, how old is Woundle? Woundle's only
2 years.
2 years. But I think coming at its 2 year mark, it's finally like when we say, "Have you heard of Woundle?" and people are like, "Yeah, actually, I play it." I mean, that's cool. That's cool for us, and I know it's probably cool for you because that's your baby. Of hearing people's feedback of, yeah, it really helped me, or it's like really fun and engaging, and that's the whole point, you guys. That's it. That's all it is at the end of the day.
And guess what? That nurse, she got all 119
We
posters.
don't gatekeep here, okay?
No.
You
Yeah,
guys want education? That's what we do. That's what we do best. So reach out.
yeah.
Let us know.
And I think that's like you said, when we go to these conferences, yeah, what we don't get like the sessions, we don't get much from the sessions. They're great, don't get me wrong, like props to everybody that presents on them. But we get that interaction. We get that of just sharing everything that we can provide for people, the support, but then also we get the reminders of why we do what we do. So
Yeah, yeah. So I know this episode isn't, on par with like everything else we're posting, but we'll get back to our regularly scheduled episodes. But we really just wanted to check in with you guys, let you guys know we're still here. We're just ironing out trying to get everything in line. But we're excited for you to see the interviews. Honestly, I really want you guys to hear from the attendees, and if you're on the fence about going, absolutely. I think something, Callie, you had chatted me a couple days ago is we definitely, I think being at SAWC, and we were at WOW a couple times, but unfortunately that's not a conference anymore. But really expanding outside of just this conference, really looking at more wound care conferences so we can give you guys more content. And I would love to have an episode where we break down like what's a good conference if you're kind of, because it can be overwhelming. I get this question a lot about wound care certifications. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. So which one should I do? Which conference should I go to? What would best support my goals? I'd love to get that info to you guys to break it down so you can make the best decision.
no, absolutely. I think, yeah, let's absolutely do an episode on all the different wound care certifications, because you brought up a good point. We actually have a whole document that breaks them down, pros and cons of each, how they compare. So that would be good. If you need that right now, reach out to us. We'll get it to you.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. That's like my number one question of what certification should I get?
Yeah. But going back to the conferences, not only did we already know that there's wound care conferences, like in the UK that are big and like they're a little bit different, right? We actually interviewed a woman who was so just like charismatic.
Oh my gosh, that was such a good interview.
She's so energetic, like she was in it to win it. And she talked about the differences in it. So I think that's though I think we should be aware of too that, the American market could be different than what's going on in the UK. So we definitely want to talk about that.
Yeah, can't wait for you guys to see that, because she really was like, well, in the UK, this is what we focus on, but here, this is what you guys focus on. And I think it's so interesting how each country, and that's what I want to do. I want to be able to see how wound care is different in the world and how we're approaching things differently, because I think we can learn from each other.
Do I hear like an unwrapped road trip?
Are we going to the UK?
You
guys, I just came back from Europe and the UK, and I am here for it. Let's do it, Kallie.
Why you're so tan and I'm so white right now, because it should be the opposite.
Well, okay, I didn't get tan in Europe. I got tan because we had like a freaking heat wave in California. So I took advantage of the sun. But I think that would be great. And I'm not opposed to a little trip. Yeah. If it's with you, let's do it.
Trip.
Glenn, you're invited too. Let's just all go. Let's pack it up. Let's take this podcast on the road. That'd be kind of fun though.
It would be like a wound care unwrapped trip. I do want to learn about like what's wound care look like elsewhere.
Yeah. Again, with anything, right? It's so easy to just be in your little bubble. But I think that's the point, again, of what we're doing, spreading awareness, spreading the information of everything, of around the world, of what's happening, because I think it's important. But, I think we're probably going to pull in all of those interviews so you guys can listen. But we're excited for a few episodes to come. So, yeah.
Well,
thanks, guys. This was more of a catch up because we missed y'all, but wanted to let you guys know. But we will catch you in the next one. Bye.
Hey guys!
Hello, we are live in the exhibit hall. It is the third day, so it's a little bit slower,
yes.
But we've had a great time interviewing attendees, hearing really great perspectives.
Yeah, and honestly, it's different perspectives than we've had, so it just shows like every person in the industry really is getting something different out of this. So,
and people from different countries.
Yeah,
so we've met
that.
Someone that's from Europe, and we learned how different the conferences of wound care are in Europe and like what different technologies we have. So can't wait for you guys to hear it.
Yes.
And see all the insights. So I'll catch you later.
Bye.
Bye. What was something you got out of the conference or something new that you learned?
Oh my gosh, I learned a whole bunch of new stuff. I'm really excited about some of the technology that's come out, especially some of the debridement, the water jet debridement tools that are here. A lot more variety, a lot more achievable to get with their pricing. Additionally, like learning about some of the other alternatives to skin substitutes, such as like the glass products or even some of the copper dressings. I'm a big tech nerd, so I love being here and getting my hands on toys and figuring out what we can add to our toolbox.
What was something that was your favorite or something that you learned from the conference?
I loved all of it. There's just so much you learn, and then it's interesting to find out what's out there, what's up and coming, what all the advancements are, all the different skin subs. I don't think, kind of my takeaway with the skin subs, I know this probably isn't going to be, I think no matter which one you use, they all are wonderful. They all are great products, and they all work as long as the wound care team is doing their due diligence and doing the proper care. I think no matter what skin sub you pick, you're going to be successful taking care of that wound. So I think I was surprised, because every single poster showed, success with every single one they use. So that was kind of encouraging, that regardless of the one that you're allowed to use or the one that insurance gets you, even though it might not be the one that you want, you're still going to have that success.
I actually really like that insight of like how you're thinking of it, because I think a lot of people are panicking if they're not used to that skin sub. But yeah, you're right. It's just at the end of the, they're all great products.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's just whatever we can do. As long as we prep the patient correctly, it's going to do well for them.
Yeah.
So I love that. Okay.
Well, the conference, this great feeling of community, that there's providers across the world. At this point, we've met people from other Irish people from England, so that wonderful feeling of community and that pushing forward of wound care as a specialty. Love that.
So what I like about SAWC, it affords me the opportunity to learn new things, new products. For example, wearable technology. That's something that didn't exist a few years ago. So I always look forward to attending these sessions.
What was your favorite thing, or what did you get out of the conference?
Honestly, a lot of the lectures were really good this year. We usually do the fall. This is our first spring that we're attending, so it's been great.
What do you think the difference is between the two?
I haven't noticed a super big difference, but I still love it.
What about you?
So for me, I thought that the spring one was going to be kind of similar to the fall one, but there's so much happening in the wound care world these days, especially with AI, with skin grafts, with everything. So I'm glad I went, just to stay up to date with everything.
So the conference this year seems a lot of more new things and about new practice. And of course, we always learn with someone and we're sharing the experience between too much countries. I'm from Europe, so it's completely different. And it's very good to see how the attendants here in the US want to make new challenges with us in Europe.
Have you attended conferences in Europe for wound care?
Yes.
And what would you say the difference is between the two?
It's quite different because it's much more. They are bigger. We have the biggest conference in Europe this year has 6,000 attendees just for 3 days. So it's quite different. But it's very nice to see that you here in the US are trying to approach to the European countries.
Do you think that technology side of wound care is more on Europe or here?
Technology is here, okay? Because there we are in the old-fashioned way, but because we think out of the box when we make dressings and the treatments. Here is the technology. So you here have more technology than we have, and the regenerative medicine is here. We don't have it there. So I hope Europe can improve as soon as possible.
Tell me about your poster.
Yeah, so I presented on a common ostomy complication called peristomal skin complication. My entire project looks at how this dejecta leakage spillage from the ostomy bag onto the skin causes peristomal skin complications and what the contribution of bacteria in this relationship is.
Oh, awesome. What was your favorite thing or something you learned from the conference this year?
I learned so much. I learned about every type of omics and that wound care is a gigantic booming business with lots of room for innovation. So I'm excited to see what next year's conference brings.
Awesome. What about you?
I just really enjoyed seeing the wide variety of wounds that people are treating and the different solutions people are coming up with, from innovative biomaterial scaffolds to different types of dressings. So it was really great to get updated on all of that.
Okay, so my favorite thing so far has been just walking around this exhibit hall, because just learning about different things that I didn't even know existed. So that's been really fun, and just getting to meet other people as well. One thing I learned is that cellulitis is do not be afraid to use compression. So I definitely I feel like I'm going to take that home and really apply it to my patients.
Thank you for listening to the Unwrapped Podcast. We hope that you found the information and insights provided to be helpful in your wound care journey. If you have any questions you'd like to be answered on the podcast, we invite you to connect with us on Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And place your question or comment under the Unwrapped Podcast post. We look forward to bringing you more wound care insights. Thank you for listening.